think so, yeah. Welcome back, Admin 399 students. Today we're talking about paper outlines. How it is that you go about designing the structure of your paper, what constitutes a good thesis, and how we structure our subtopics in order to support that thesis. So I've got with me again today Stephen Harris, who's going to give us a little bit of an introduction to the topic. Stephen.
Thanks, Jonathan. So your outline, the easiest way to think about this is that it is the roadmap that you will use to follow to build out your actual paper that you're going to submit. In the outline, you're describing your thesis, what your question is that you're trying to answer, or the topic that you want to explore. You're going to talk about why you want to explore that topic, why it's important to you, and how this is going to be helpful to your life or to academia in general. And then you're going to talk about, at a high level, again, sort of think of this as the roadmap. In section 1, I'm going to talk about the definitions of the terms I'm going to use in this paper, and I'm going to talk, subtopic of that will be, here's why this is important, and subtopic B, subtopic C. So you're not actually giving me the details of why it's important or what your research is. You're just giving me the outline. In this first paragraph, I will talk about definitions of productivity amongst waitstaff. In my second section, I will talk about the importance of productivity and how that translates to the healthy bottom line for a restaurant. My third paragraph will talk about whatever. You don't actually, in the outline, talk about the details of it. You just give the headline. It's just the synopsis. And so when you complete your outline, you should have a document that essentially you could hand to another student. If you handed your outline and your literature review to another student, someone else could basically almost write that paper, because the outline tells them what to do in what order. Your literature review is the evidence that supports it.
So this sounds like you've got a really easy process to follow once you've got good outline produced. Essentially, you just have to fill in the blanks and expand a little bit on whatever the subtopics are.
Exactly. That's the benefit of doing the outline, is it helps to organize your thinking. I think back to my own time as a student and sitting down to write a paper, and I've got 100 different ideas and all kinds of evidence and stuff that's all floating around in a big mussy jumble. And I sit at my computer and I look at a blank screen and I try to think, where do I start and how do I write this? And I start writing and I end up having to go back and change it, and it's messy. Doing an outline organizes your thinking. It does that process for you. It allows you to very simply say, oh, you know what? This paragraph about how productivity relates to profit really makes more sense down at the bottom of the paper rather than in paragraph 2. And so you move those bits and pieces around, and it helps you get your mind clear about the order and flow of the topics and the subtopics and the points that you want to make and that you want to address, so that when you sit down to write your actual draft of the paper, you're not stuck with this big mess of 1,000 ideas that all kind of get thrown to the page at once.
So would you include in your outline any reference to the research that you've done in your literature review?
I do, and so what usually happens in that outline is you would say, in this section I'm going to talk about topic X. I will use these 3 bits of research that I found about topic X. Again, you don't need to give the details of that, you just need to, it's a guideline for yourself. Think of it as if you had to hand your project to someone else to take over with the outline and the literature review, they should be able to take that and assemble it into the same paper that you would.
So it's a clear set of instructions, much like what you get from IKEA.
Exactly. It is the step-by-step, do this first, do this second, and it makes a huge difference in having a clear, well-considered paper, rather than sort of the messy stuff with everything is all on the page altogether. The outline helps you organize your thinking.
That sounds like a very easy roadmap to follow. Thank you, Stephen.
Cheers. Thanks, Jonathan.